in the book. Spoiler alert.
Did you read it?
Spoiler.
Oh,
Before
right.
the
In
end.
the book, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
We're back.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're back. Yes, we are. Okay, so.
Excuse me. Yes, sorry.
Ooh.
The natives are getting restless.
It's time to eat. No, okay, so
My
Patty.
movie.
Yes.
My movie is Knock at the Cabin, and this is a preview of
Let's
what we'll
knock
be
it out.
talking about.
I haven't seen the trailer for this, actually.
Some of the songs they play.
Are we gonna sing along?
That's what I thought was actually very important in the movie, was the scene in the very last scene.
Yeah.
I always find it scary when those kids are such good little actors. That's an alien.
Well, they're natural to it. They play.
Yeah, because they can copy anything. They're good at imitating. Shyamalan.
My name's Leonard.
No, you don't pronounce the Y. Shyamalan.
No, Shyamalan. Shyamalan.
That's what makes it easy.
Why are you here?
I suppose I'm here to make friends with you. And your dad's too.
Actually,
But my heart is broken.
he's got such an interesting voice that if you hear it, you know it's Sam.
Yeah.
What's his face?
That's what I have to do
David
today.
Bautista.
Bautista.
There is a woman carrying something that looks like a pick with a chain and a mallet head.
You see, the four of us have a very important job to do. In fact, it might be the most important job in the history of the world. We were called and are united by a common vision, which has now become a command that we cannot ignore. The four of us are here to prevent the apocalypse. Your family has been chosen to make a horrible decision. If you fail to choose, the world will end.
There we go. I love M. Night Shyamalan, as I call him. Shamalama Ding Dang. And I'll probably use that reference.
And we all know who he is. But
Yeah,
when
right.
you
Yeah,
say
that's,
it.
yeah. This is adapted from a book called The Cabin at the End of the World. And unfortunately, all the things I've been reading about it, it keeps comparing it to the book because Shyamalan Ding Dong took a whole different road with this. Knock at the Cabin, it's interesting. In biblical meaning is that God is calling you. That's
Oh, that's what the
Right,
term is.
no, yes.
Hmm.
it's also like spirituality, when you dream or something. So while vacationing, a family at a very remote cabin, which I think was interesting. A young girl and her parents are taken hostage by four strangers who demand that they sacrifice one of themselves to avoid the apocalypse. And so for the beginning of this, you think, oh, they're all nuts. The most outstanding thing for me was this, David Bautista. He was amazing in this. It's like, if I was interested in acting, whoever his acting...
They like him too.
Yeah.
Someone say Bautista?
whoever his acting coach was, that's who I'd go to. So there's David Bautista in it, Rupert Grint, Ben Aldridge, and Jonathan Groff. And so you see them questioning, they're being tied up, and the four people standing in front of them are explaining things really rationally, but you think at the beginning you think they're crazy, but then with him, you never know, with Shyamalan Ding Dong. And so the first thing that came to my mind was, God, what would I do? And you know what? I'd let the world go. I know me. Right.
Me too.
Yeah. It wasn't even like I had to think about it. Right? No, you're not killing anybody in my family. Right. But, and certain periods of time, they only have so much time that they can do it in. Each one of these 4 people gets killed if they have not chosen somebody. And you see, it's really like an emotional blackmail and a psychological blackmail about making them have to make this decision. Now, Jonathan Kraft's character in this he's much more of the believer, grew up in the church. His partner, where is he? Ben Aldridge, is much more the practical. If I don't see it, it's not there. And you see them go back and forth, and
because he's a lawyer, I think. So that's why he's like.
And you see yourself even going through. Well, I'm going to save the world, but the play of it is good. Funny enough, now I want to read the book because the book is even more interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know who goes next.
No, I do, I guess. Because I think I told you this, that since you're the Dean Koontz fan too.
I am.
When I started watching this, it's like, oh, this reminds me of like Servants of the Twilight.
Oh, yeah.
To which basically was sort of the opposite story. It's that some woman hires a private detective to help her son because these bunch of religious fanatics are after her son because they think he's the Antichrist, right? So I thought, oh, is this what the kind of story is? But then it's like you said, when they first show up, because I really don't like M. Night Shyamalan's movies a lot. I think they're very entertaining, and they usually, from beginning to end, I'll do that. But ultimately, it's like, oh, they're disappointing. Whereas I thought, okay, this sort of intrigued me from beginning to end. But then I realized, because even though he adapted it from a novel. Usually he's writing his own. So this I thought was really intriguing. The performances of everybody in the cast, including this young girl, I thought they were all very good for the situation they're put in. Well, that's the thing. There are more people in it, but it's just really centering on these characters. Because the one thing about the character, I think you mentioned his name, Andrew, he's the one who you could tell, the Eric character, is the one that seems to be happiest. And like you said, peace of mind, because like, apparently he doesn't have issues with his parents. They flash back to a thing where you're seeing Andrew, I'm assuming, telling his parents that he's gay and he's with this person. And like he mentioned like, oh yeah, 7-hour trip and they stayed 45 minutes.
Right.
And then you hear, it's like, oh, that's probably your mother calling to see how everything's going. Right. So one guy is sort of settled into this lifestyle and everything. The other guy's not.
Has a chip in his shoulder.
Well, just you can tell it's not quite all there. Whereas what's funny is, because I thought at first, because I didn't know this was a part of the plot. When Dave Bautista finds out, it's like, oh, you have 2 dads, right?
We didn't plan on that.
Well, the thing is, like, you see him look a little surprised, but then they make it very clear. No. This has nothing to do with you guys. The fact that you're gay, right? And that's why it's like, okay, then why, out of all the people in the world, is this one family, really sort of centered out? And I think one of them mentions, like, because I think it's that all 3 of them share a truly pure love for one another, which is what I'll buy then. I said, you know what? I'll accept that, because it's like, okay, here's the hard thing. I have to go with, just for plot's sake, we have to go with the premise.
Right.
So are these guys crazy? These 4 people who show up the door, they don't seem crazy. They're very rational people.
Kind, actually.
And then until, like you said, then one of them, the first one, has to get killed, saying, we will, if one of you doesn't make a choice, one of us will be killing ourselves to show you, because each death will release the plague of some sort, right? Or it's a disaster. I shouldn't say plague, but a disaster. So first time happens, like, even they're saying, don't let them get into your head. Like, they knew this was happening. This happened 4 hours ago. They're timing everything. That's why,
that was pretty good.
all this kind of stuff. It's like,
Right.
okay, yeah, that's rash. I believe that and so as it goes along, though, more and more starts to unpeel. Now, unfortunately, it didn't keep me in suspense, but I did wonder how the conclusion would go, which I was completely satisfied with of how everything happened and went on. The weird part is to know that these 4 crazy people, how much sympathy they really get to you as the movie goes along,
Right.
how much more sympathy you have for them, at least in my opinion, than the actual family, because that's the ultimate one. But then, when you think about as religion, because again, I'm assuming it's a religious thing too. I don't know if
the apocalypse is religious.
well, that's the thing. That's what I was wondering. Is this the apocalypse coming from a god? Because,
God gave them the
And I think they
vision of God.
represent
That's what
the 4 horsemen.
Right.
well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Here's something biblical happening, and that's what I said. I don't know if it's a Christian thing, right?
Right.
Is this
It's Christian.
what it is? Okay. So my thing is, again, why them? I guess is the first question. Second one is like the signs, right? You're
Right.
being given signs. Then it's like there's only one place they can go with this, really.
Yeah.
So I was almost intrigued because I think I was like you, Pat. It's like, no one's dying. I'm sorry. Oh, are we going to be the last people on Earth then? Fine. I'll be happy with it.
As long as I live, I'm good.
Well, with the people I love, right? And as long as you can have food and everything, it's like, because you're not going to be competing with anything, obviously. So
then
then,
you'd walk in the fiery remains,
right.
so nothing would be around.
Oh, okay. So that's the only thing I was not familiar with. So, but as you said, I give it to the cast. In fact, the other 2 you didn't mention, I thought they were excellent too. That was Karen Cooey or Kristen Cooey is the one who played Gwen, the 6-year-old.
Oh,
like
she
I
was
said,
good. Yeah.
I was sort of amazed for this kind of movie, how good I thought she really pulls up playing that character. Because she's adorable when you see her. Her first scene with Dave Bautista, it shows the 2 of them working so well together because he does confess that he's a teacher. So it's like,
Right.
oh, that immediately it's like, oh, I get that immediately. That's why he can engage.
And it's
with
also
her
a thing,
so
he's a
quickly.
kindergarten teacher, so it's
With young kids,
deals with the
exactly.
young kids.
Yeah.
That's why he's really soft.
And then that Nikki Amuka-Bird, who played Sabrina, she's the nurse.
Right.
She's healing his wounds. And I'm a nurse. And she's still. You could tell there's something there. And the other woman, Abby Quinn, was the oddest one because you could tell she was the neurotic one. She's
Right.
like, should we do this? Should we do that? But apparently she was a cook,
Yeah.
and so that's another thing. You see her feeding the child too. It's
You see them use their talents in one way or
right.
another.
And she says, oh, yeah, I feel like I'm feeding somebody's soul when I give them food.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, there's something not making sense to me here. So the movie overall doesn't make a lot of sense, but it made a hell of a lot more sense than Bo Was Afraid. I'll say that right now. This was, out of all the movies, I thought, this is one of the movies that it's like, gosh, it's a movie I didn't think I'd like, but I really, from beginning and the way it goes and the way it unfolds, it really held my attention to where it's like, and I did enjoy the conclusion. So this is a movie I would recommend. And I hope M. Night Shyamalan does more movies like this. I really like this.
And he had Ron Weasley too.
Yes, well, she mentioned
Who's,
Rupert Grint. Yeah.
From because he uses him and he did The Servant, and that's one of the main characters in
Mhm.
The Servant. But he plays the same identical role.
Yeah, really.
Little
But
asshole.
he's good in those roles.
He's really good, yeah. Actually, when you were talking about that, the 2 gay couple, it gave me an interesting twist to it that if this is the apocalypse and they're the only 2 left, or the guy and the girl, they cannot procreate to create new.
Well,
new people,
seemingly, because I
yeah.
thought, well, you still have a 6-year-old girl, so it's possible,
Yeah,
but
That'd be a
but
whole
if they kill
different movie.
but that's the twist. You have to pick somebody to kill. But if you don't,
right.
so it creates an interesting twist because 2 of them are 2 guys. So
Mhm.
I thought I was back at Bo Is Afraid
Yeah.
for this movie. I was like, is it live or is it memory?
Exactly. Yeah.
Is it in their head or is it real?
Exactly.
And he did a well where I was going, is it real or not? And whenever they would show proof that this is happening, they also showed how it can be faked.
Right.
So, well, wait a minute, you recorded that, it was happening. So that came my interest. That this guy's nuts, and some weird cult that they made up on social media and they get together, or is this really happening? It's funny how all these wrestlers, I noticed that like Batista, John Cena, and The Rock, they're just so likable. Even if they play bad characters,
Right.
so you can help like the bloke, they just really have a nice feel to them.
I think all three have charisma.
Yeah,
they
have
all
charisma.
three because of that wrestling world that they have to go on the stage and be center.
But I noticed that too. So like Batista's like the thing is too that in the movie that the two couple, the gay couple that they have tied up and they have to choose who to kill. It also makes it really clever that one is susceptible to believe. Also, he had a concussion when he fell.
Right.
So he's very susceptible. But the other one is a lawyer and had a thing with his parents. And he's just a skeptic and angry and F you. So he was very clever. The book was very clever to have these two different personalities. Well, one would follow. It would be very easy to make this person follow the cult. But this one's like, hell no, that ain't happening. So that was a good point that they make too.
Yeah, one dilemma they didn't come up with, what I thought they should have, was whether they would kill the girl or not.
That was a possibility.
Because he says one of you has to kill one of the family members, period.
Yeah, right.
But if there's no girl, then how are they going to
recreate
create a future?
They're going to die even if they live because
if they kill the girl, the apocalypse is not
it's not happening. Oh, right.
In the book, spoiler alert.
Did you read it?
Spoiler.
Oh, right. In the book, yeah. But,
no.
Yeah. But that's a good point.
Wow.
If they decide to not kill anybody,
What if they decide to kill the girl?
No. But here's the point. If they decide not to kill anybody and they're the only three left,
right,
the speech is going to continue because you have two gay men and one young girl.
Well, no, that's why I disagree because I said no. Even a gay guy, if he has to procreate, if they know they need people.
Oh,
they
okay.
Gay men have had father children, right?
Yeah, but not with your daughter too, so it's weird.
Well, see, that's why I said that's why the weird dynamic. Because to me, I thought they never really debated about because it was their love that strong that they would actually think of getting rid of the girl.
Right, so there's no way they're gonna get rid of the girl. Right?
Well, they're very protective. Yeah. I don't think. I thought they thought.
But it'd be like, we would really be like, I ain't killing nobody, so screw you.
Yeah, right.
We're all dying. But so I really enjoyed the movie. It had me the whole time, but I wasn't satisfied with the conclusion. That's where I was at. You could have gone a different direction with this. But other than that, it really helped me. So, yeah.
Okay, I love M. Night Shyamalan. I really love him. And it was not a bad movie, but you have to have a certain belief to make it scary, like zombies. Like zombie movies don't scare me because I don't believe in zombies, right? I don't think that's possible.
Or The Exorcist,
right? Or Exorcist, because you have to have a certain underlying belief that makes it. Believable. Believable.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that belief.
Right.
So so I say M. Night Shyamalan never disappoints, and he doesn't. This is not one of my favorite movies that he did. But like George says, you're never really and you're never really sure if these people are crazy or
it's like both.
Yeah, except there are more clues in this as you go along.
Yeah.
But I just love that and I wish they would have done more of it, where the rational guy had so many great arguments.
Yes, exactly. The more debate between them. Yes, exactly.
That would have been great.
But what's interesting too, what is clever too, the rational guy has great arguments, right? He's a lawyer and everything. But the other guy even has a vision. I think he's a Shroud of Turin. So now you're having faith and all this going against.
Things unseen.
In the mirror.
Well, see, I know. Did he see something? See, all I know is I saw a reflection of a light. Is there something?
I paused it.
Is there an actual something?
He looked at the Shroud of Turin. That's the image from the Shroud of Turin.
Oh, so he
actually saw an image. It was supposed to be Jesus.
Do you think it was an angel or was it Jesus?
It was the
Well,
shroud.
it
It
looked
was
like
the
Jesus.
shroud of.
It looked like the
It
shroud.
was a shroud.
It looked like the shroud turin. It looks like
okay.
it looks like in the movie they grabbed that image
Yeah.
and put it in the mirror.
Right.
No,
Because I paused
Because
it.
he says he saw that.
Yeah.
Right.
He saw something, but
Right.
I just remember seeing a light, but I didn't see
No,
anything.
I went back and I
okay.
paused it and I saw it.
Okay.
So you have somebody who actually has a vision, so the faith is strong.
Right.
Whereas the person is still
But
like
don't
almost a
forget,
skeptic.
he also has the
A
concussion.
yeah. And also,
I think that
and it
would
makes
make
it
you
that-
more
And- yes.
susceptible.
Exactly.
And
That would
made-
make you more susceptible to getting away your perception and
Well,
opening up.
well,
your
it would be-
But
perception.
it's still great. It's like you have all these like, okay, he had a concussion, but he did see the thing and it convinced him.
Right.
And this guy had. I wish they would have developed
yeah,
that more.
that argument would have been great.
Yeah,
That-
because he started to do it, and I thought, oh, that's a great argument.
Then it would have been a 3-hour movie.
like they said, it would be a different movie, but okay. The cabin at the end of the world. A lot of people had felt that it totally misrepresented
represented,
that book by
Oh,
by,
really?
Well, he changed
by
it.
Yeah, they changed the ending, yeah.
Tremblay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, I usually have trouble with these kind of movies because they have a belief in this Christian doctrine, like the apocalypse and the four horsemen of the apocalypse, all that kind of stuff. And I actually don't have it. So,
well, you have to think of it as watching a zombie movie.
but even exactly. But I do find it interesting. Like I find any
It's fascinating.
Yes. All religions are kind of a philosophy theory, that, and I kind of
In fact, the
find
way they
them
are
interesting,
philosophies. Yeah.
But I don't believe it, so of course I'm not afraid, and I don't believe that that's going to happen or
Right.
it's going to happen in that way. And if this was the situation, I'm sorry, people, because they're probably going to die.
Spit it out soon.
It's kind of like an extension of Jesus on the cross kind of thing, all the suffering.
Oh, well, no, the sacrifice.
Yes.
It's always suffering.
That's definitely.
It's about the
Yeah,
sacrifice.
exactly.
Sacrifice.
That's
Yeah.
that I find that a really hey, people, we're going into the age of Aquarius, leaving the age of Pisces of martyrdom.
Yeah.
and
Catch up.
sacrificial love. So it's kind of like, I just don't get it. I don't understand. If there is a God, I don't understand why he would want that to happen. What kind of God is that? Anyway, so that's another story. But you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, so I watch it, I find it interesting, and I thought that they took a great spin on it because these guys didn't, as you go further on, you realize they don't know each other.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not like they know each other. They don't know each other.
Right.
That lady's a waitress and that guy's and it was kind of like, well, it's interesting the way they present it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the impact.
No, exactly. I agree because that's why I said that's what left me sort of flat. I really wanted more of the interaction between characters. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved the debate.
Yeah, that would have.
Yes, exactly. Because I was actually intrigued by just the way they present. Like I said, well, first they present themselves, and then they tell them what they have to do, and it's like, well.
It's like, why do you believe this? That would be
Well-
my question.
Well, see, the thing is, for me, when I watch a movie like The Exorcist, which, by the way, William Friedkin passed away,
Who did?
correct? R.I.P. The director of The Exorcist passed
Aw.
away.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, because that's why Bob wanted to do Sorcerer.
But I was going to say,
But,
there's
Yeah, that was
a,
a- New
What
Exorcist?
happens is, huh?
Oh,
What?
go ahead.
No.
There's a new exorcist. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I'm always intrigued by religious people in general because I understand the religious zeal, but it's when they want to impose it on other people. And see, that's how I saw this.
And they always want
here
to
are
impose
our
it.
rules,
Yeah.
which is why I thought at first, is this because they're a gay couple? I really was thinking that
Oh, really?
has to be that. And then it turns out, it's like, no, that's not the case.
well,
And that's why I was intrigued. I thought, oh, good, at least they sort of updated it in a way then. But my thing still remained like you. It's like, okay, I don't understand why they picked these three people. That's literally the only
They were
reason.
chosen.
No,
In
exactly.
the
That's
vision,
insane.
they were chosen.
No, exactly. And then why were these 4 people, especially one that had a past with one of them, right? A history.
Yeah.
That's like, that's sort of weird. I just, and
Because
then
you're-
they do mention like one's the nurturer, one's the educator, one's the healer, those kind of things.
Well, I don't
what-
think if I understand how it goes, that you cannot understand the logic of Jesus, of God. You,
Okay.
as
It's
a
a faith
mere
thing.
mortal,
That
cannot
is true,
understand
yes.
it.
It's faith, and you cannot.
And that's why you have to believe it in faith.
Well, that's what they say. That was the Lord works in mysterious ways. They always use that.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
I would
yes.
call it. I call it the excuse. But I think the reason they picked these 3 people because they made it interesting because there was a gay couple with a
No, that's what I'm
very
saying. That's-
young girl. With a
That's
very young
considered,
girl.
Yeah, but
that's why I
That
thought
gives
they
it
were
an extra
singled out
twist.
because of that.
Yeah, but I find that very odd in this day and age. You know what I mean? It's like, is this even a
Now, I don't know if they, in the book they
issue
do that
in
too.
this day and age?
No, my point.
I don't think so.
No. My point is not
It's
that.
2 men. In the
My
book.
point is not that them being gay is an issue. That them being gay
Oh, it
becomes
is.
an issue
Okay.
in terms of procreating the species.
Well, no,
Women,
they have a
yes,
little
I think
girl,
it is the way I read
Yeah,
it.
but that means one of them is going to wait till she's 18. You know.
and they're not related.
They were going to live
It was-
even
it
if
was-
they
it
didn't
was,
choose anybody
it gave it
because
that
he
extra-
says you're going to be walking in the
Yeah,
fury
he just gave it that
fiery
extra.
ashes.
That extra. Right.
Oh, no. The 3 of
And
them.
being gay had nothing to do with it. It was just because it surprised them.
Yeah. No, the
No.
3 were still going to be alive.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one thing. But like I said, they would be the only 3 people on Earth.
And they
It's
would
like,
have
wow.
nothing because
Well,
everything would be
yeah,
a
some
fiery
being,
ash.
but that's why them being gay men, because if they were a couple of men
A
and
female
a
and a
male and female, sure, one thing we're just gonna have sex and have more kids. We'll start the whole world again. Yeah.
No, because they
Exactly.
have nothing. They
So,
would eventually
Adam and Eve
die.
all over.
Yeah, exactly. So that gave it the extra. That gave it the extra tense to the
Yeah.
movie. The fact that there were 2 men. That's to me. That's the whole point that they have 2 men.
Oh, interesting.
If it was a man and a woman, sure, no problem. In the
Okay.
movie. Do you understand that wasn't coming from my mouth? You know what I'm
Yeah,
trying
but
to say?
I think that's very weighty if you have these beliefs, and that someone would tell you, if you don't do this, all of humanity will die. I think that's huge. I think that would be
Well, I think that's-
Well,
it's kinda
yeah,
weird.
picture it's like that old philosophical thing. If you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you be able to go and kill Hitler?
Yes.
You know?
I have no problem.
you
kind
would
of
have
thing.
no idea. You're talking
Exactly.
about 20/20 hindsight.
And don't even think about somebody like you said. This before he even becomes Hitler, he's just this young art student. You have to go
In
kill
fact,
him.
in fact,
when you came as a baby,
when we close here, I have. That's an interesting conversation that I don't have on.
that we'll
Okay.
keep recording for our Patreon fans.
That would be a great idea, but except you
And we
really
canceled.
wouldn't want to hear my ideas. Not really.
So how about we grade this movie?
Okay. Okay.
So-
Who's
Whose movie
first?
was it?
Who's first? How do we-
Me.
it was
my
your
movie.
movie.
Yeah. So I gave this a 5. A very solid 5, but this has potential to be a little bit better. If you heard what we said about what we were talking about, then definitely see it.
Yeah, aside from my disappointment at the end, but I really found it entertaining in the whole arguments and the discussions. I'll give it an 8.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it was really a good movie. It's not my scare zone
Right.
or my zone, but as far as the movie went and the ideas and the uniqueness of it, I'll give it a 9.
Hey, Train to Busan is not my song, but it's a 10.
Yeah.
I give it a 9. It was,
I gave it a
was-
9 too.
It had a
Nice.
lot of really unique
Oh, such a great movie.
perspectives
I
on
wish we could do it
things.
again.
I already did.
Oh, 9?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But there is another movie. There is a movie called
Peninsula.
something in the cabin. A cabin
In the woods.
Cabin in the
Woods. Cabin in the
Cabin
Woods.
in the
Ellsworth,
Woods,
don't.
which is also based on this.
Really? No.
Yeah.
Really?
No, no, no.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's a different
that one
movie,
isn't.
Sue.
No, yeah, that is not
That's
based on
about
that.
that's
That's
a
a horror
zombie
movie.
movie.
I think that's a horror movie, I think.
This isn't
Well,
a horror
this is a
movie.
horror movie.
No, that's not a horror
This
movie.
is, I
I
wouldn't
think
call this
it's
a
a
horror
horror
I
movie.
think
movie.
it's
This is
psychological drama.
Well, I would say thriller.
Is
I
it
think
based
was
on
definitely
the
a thriller.
Suspenseful.
Horseman of the Apocalypse?
No.
No, this is a suspenseful,
I didn't see that movie,
physiological,
by the way, but they compared it to it a lot.
sociological.
It actually has nothing
Very
to do with it.
sociological
There's
and
zombies. It's four
even
guys,
religiously,
four people
Yeah.
who are
culturally.
taken as
Yeah.
kids who are taken as an experiment to this place.
Of course, she knows it. Yeah.
and
Okay.
and the only similarity is they pick something in the cellar, and this is how they're all going to die. And the larger picture is they're all going to die because Signori, how do you say her name? Aliens lady.
The what?
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver tells them that they have to appease the old gods and give them blood, otherwise there'll be the apocalypse and all these creatures from hell.
So Cabin in the West is an
Oh,
apocalypse
so
movie
it
too.
is actually very similar.
It is an-
Yeah,
it is an
right.
apocalypse
Yeah, it is
movie.
very
You're into
similar.
it a lot.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, but it's also an
No.
apocalypse theme movie.
Oh yeah, it's not. It is,
Yeah.
but it's not. No, trust me,
This
it's
is a
not
very
the same.
unique portrayal of the apocalypse,
Yeah.
and
Remember
yes,
that movie? It was with Mimi Driver, I think.
yes, fantastic movie, The
That was-
Rapture.
What was it called? The Rapture.
No, that
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah.
That,
Was that?
It was the fantastic,
Mimi Rogers.
Mimi
Yeah.
Rogers. Thank
Yes.
Right, yes.
fantastic.
Yes, actually,
Should've
that
done
was
that one.
see that was the same thing.
Right.
I was intrigued, not knowing the religious aspect, but then watching her go through those steps. It's like, okay, there is something here going on, and see
Yeah.
that kept me to the very end.
Yes.
To which, of course, it does happen, right?
Yeah.
But even when they had like Gabriel blowing the horn and stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, they're really sticking to sort of the biblical story. So.
Yeah.
I thought because you don't know if she's crazy or not. Because you think
Yes.
Yes, no, is she breaking down?
Yeah.
And finally to the point where it's like, oh my God, is she really
I hope to
wants
God
to kill her
yeah.
child and this
And
and that?
does,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I really liked that movie.
Yeah.
I
that was
thought
a great.
Yeah.
that was considered
I
a
have
B
to watch
movie.
that again,
It was
'cause
a
I can't remember.
fantastic
Right,
movie.
exactly.
So we saying goodbye to everybody.
Yeah. So,
Oh, yes, that's right.
so
That.
bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.